Hello and thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakum. Today on the program, Southeast governors launch regional security outfits, EbebuAgu, as tension grows over insecurity in the region and more than 40 attacks launched in 4 months. Governor Obaseki says Nigeria is in financial trouble, claims the federal government printed 60 billion naira to share in March, as UN confirms Boko Haram attack on facility in Borno town as a number of dead rises to 7. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akipelu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. The decision of governors of the Southeast to set up its regional security outfit, codenamed EbebuAgu, continues to elicit mixed reactions from Nigerians. While many applaud the decision, others felt it was somewhat too late in the day, especially with the grossly deteriorating insecurity in the region. Announcing the establishment of the security outfit after a meeting on Sunday, chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, Dave Omahi of Ebonyi State, says the headquarters of the outfit will be in Enugu, adding that EbebuAgu will also monitor the activities of vigilante groups in member states. You know, Jide, when Amotekun came, it's a kind of novel idea, and it generated a lot of controversy, and the 6 states that, that are in the southwest, they were able to ratify, perfect this law, setting up Amotekun in their different states. And today, there's a kind of stability as that program is taking off. Now, a lot of other regions, they were trying to look at what will be the outcome of what the Southwest is going to do. But now the security situation has deteriorated so much that, look, the Southeast now, apart from the northeast and the northwest that we had problems, now a place like Ebonyi and Imo State now, they become very, very hot lately. So, EbebuAgu, Jide.
Yeah, it's any effort to complement the work of the police is something that I welcome. But whether EbebuAgu will be able to get the job done is what we are not sure of. And I say this because all these regional security groupings that we are creating, they do not have the firepower to match the terrorists operating in these areas. I remember reading an article in which a criminal headsman warned a person that they had kidnapped in Oyo State that you better warn the Amotekun not to come near this place because I will just blow up their heads. They go around with AK-47 and AK-49. The Amotekun, they have no access to AK-49 or AK-47. They have GPMGs, they have RPGs, they use IEDs. Because if you look at the weapons that they deployed in overrunning the Federal Correctional Center as well as the police station, police headquarters in Imo, these were the weapons that they used: AK-47, AK-49, GPMG, RPG, IEDs. If people are this prepared, if people are this armed, you want to now face them with vigilantes. Because as far as I'm concerned, Amotekun and these other groups, they are just like vigilance groups.
To give intelligence.
The intelligence, you can't provide intelligence, you can't get the job done with intelligence. You know, it's not, their job is not simply to give intelligence. Their job is also to apprehend criminals. Amotekun has been arresting criminals. Even OPC has helped Amotekun in some cases to arrest those who kidnap people. But I'm saying that the kind of firepower at the disposal of these people. I've seen videos of the ESN members who are deemed to be the paramilitary wing of the IPOB. If you see the weapons that these boys have, even some of them, they have huge biceps and all that. So you know that there is training. There is a high level of training in weapons handling. These are people that you want to face with. These are people that Amotekun will now confront with their Shakabula den guns. It's not going to work. You see, except they are permitted to carry the same caliber of weapons that those who they are going to face are carrying. Just before we got into this studio, there was a report that bandits attacked the market in Niger State and killed 5 vigilantes. They've been wasting vigilantes for some time. They've killed dozens and dozens of vigilantes in Niger State as a way of showing that, look, we have the capacity. And as if that was not enough, they went to an army base and set an army base ablaze in Niger State and killed soldiers. So,
what effrontery.
This is the thing. I'm worried that the governors of the Southeast allow things to degenerate this much. Look at the governor of Ebonyi State. Attacks by headsmen on communities in the area. In some cases, the people too are said to attack headsmen. They attack communities where headsmen live. So there have been attacks and counterattacks. This morning again we heard about another attack on a community in Ebonyi State. Why did Dave Umahi wait this long before thinking of an appropriate response? Either if, because we are hearing now that, okay, they are going to post soldiers to those areas. Why did it take this long? Why must you wait until so many lives have been lost before responding? You've waited, allowed Kanu to bamboozle people with his rhetorics and all that. The day before the attack on those facilities in Imo, he addressed the people for 1 hour 45 minutes, and he was telling them, look, Nigeria has not got enough security personnel. Go ahead, to confront the people. I mean, that the people should not be afraid to die. He was even referring to the Civil War. So they left things. I'm really not impressed with Umahi and others.
Okay.
Because they should have done a lot more before now. 43 attacks between January and now on security agents and police formations before you now started thinking of another version of Amotekun.
All right, let me just take you to the meeting so that you hear what was decided.
The recent insecurity in the southeast region has been a source of worry to many, especially those living in the zone. The Monday early hours attack on the facilities of the correctional center and the state police headquarters in Owerri is still fresh in the minds of many, hence the need for this Security Council meeting. From the arrival of the state governors and other attendees, it was clear they are here for serious business. After the opening formalities, journalists were excused. Hours after, the governors, security agencies and leadership of Ohanaeze Ndigbo emerged with the following resolutions.
The meeting strongly condemns the burning of police stations, violent attacks on custodial centers with the unlawful release of inmates, and the killings including security personnel, natives, farmers, and herdsmen. That the 5 Southeast governors states are on the same page with the federal government on the issue of security challenges in the country. We applaud the initiative of Southeast Security Summit and to make it a statutory summit that we convene every quarter while its hosting shall rotate among the 5 Southeast states. The meeting resolved to maintain a joint security vigilante, which already has been formed in the 5 southeast states for the southeast, and the joint security outfit to coordinate the activities of our vigilante in the 5 south states shall from today be known and called EbebuAgu, Joint Security Outfit for Southeast.
These decisions reached will also help to check those whose activities are inimical to the well-being of the region.
The meeting condemns very highly the killings in all Southeast in the recent time, and asks the federal government and security agencies to bring justice to the victims by way of bringing all the murderers to face the law. Meeting approved that the acting IGP and other security chiefs do invite the leadership of Ades Ndibo and the CAN leadership to find out the reasons for increasing insecurity in the southeast of late. Meeting agreed that military policy in the southeast should be adequately funded and should become very effective. Meeting agreed that open grazing has been banned in southeast for a long time now, but requested that security agencies should do everything to implement it.
The meeting is optimistic that all the relevant stakeholders in the region, like the political class, the business community, and intelligential, will provide all necessary support to security operatives in the region to fight crime. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
Mayor,
let me start by saying that I can understand why the Southeast governors decided to launch EbebuAgu. But like Jide said, it's an exercise in futility. The reason being that Nigeria is on a long road to anarchy. And our government has shown that they are incapable of protecting the lives and properties of the citizens of Nigeria. And I put the blame squarely on the desk of Mr. President, because when you don't show adequate leadership, everything seems to be spiraling out of control. And the security situation in Nigeria now is worrisome. You know, before, the state of insecurity used to be in the northeast through Boko Haram. And at the worst of Goodluck Jonathan's presidency, yes, Boko Haram was controlling a lot of places in the northeast. And they were able to move their activities up to Abuja. But now, there's insecurity everywhere. Today, even in Southwest now, Ogun State is probably the whole hotbed of kidnapping in Southwest. Every time people get kidnapped, everywhere in the country. And because the government has lost the initiative to bandits, they are in a better position to do whatever they want to do, because they have the firepower that we don't have. So if we form groups that were supposed to, at best, would just be support to some individuals, occasionally in some communities, they could be effective in some communities. But when it comes to confronting the bandits, they are not even in a position to do that. So I think, one, we have to improve our security architecture. The government has to know that if they allow this security situation to continue, then we may even lose the government itself, because the primary duty of government is protection of lives and property. So, and they now have to change the security infrastructure, architecture in a way that will be able to reduce this insecurity that we have all over. These groups that were being formed, yes, maybe it's good for psyche. You know, the people will say, okay, our governors are doing things, or they are trying to do things to arrest the situation. But like we said, they are not in a position to do anything because they don't bear arms. And because they don't bear arms, I can understand why government is a bit reluctant to allow, because we cannot just push arms into the hands of a lot of people. But we have to find a way of making sure that these groups, Amotekun, EbebuAgu, we must be able to make it in a position where they will be able to assist the government. And the only way they can do that is if in their position to defend themselves. If you want to arrest bandits, or you want to arrest criminals, and you don't have any means to do so, you're just deceiving yourself.
But actually, the civilian GTF, that they complement the military up north, I don't know, maybe they're allowed to carry arms, but they do some intelligence gathering for the military.
They have weapons. They have weapons. They use den guns. They have weapons. I see them carrying weapons. And the difference between them is that they are never far away from the army. In fact, when you see an army checkpoint, it is the civilian JTF operative who searches vehicles. Soldiers will just be at the background. They use them to search vehicles, and because they are familiar with the area, and even the Boko Haram guys themselves, they know a lot of those boys. So they are able to detect whether a vehicle approaching the checkpoint carries some form of threat. So when they raise an alarm, these guys, they go on operation with the army. Usually when they kill soldiers, they kill civilian JTF as well. So they are not like Amotekun that are
solo.
Yes. And even the agro rangers too, they also carry arms. They complement the civilian JTF as well as the army because they offer protection to farmers. That's what Zulum uses them for. A lot of them are operatives of civil defense and all that. So civilian JTF, they are always in the thick of things. They get involved. That's why we've lost hundreds of them. We've lost hundreds of them, honestly. Civilian JTF, the Boko Haram will have killed them in excess of 600 because they get involved. There's no attack on a major town. In fact, the leader of the civilian JTF in Kukawa local government was killed the other day.
Recently, yes.
So they get involved and they have weapons. They carry den guns and some weapons too, just in that category. So, but in the case of civilian, Amotekun, yes, they also have den guns because that is the only kind of assault rifle that can be licensed. That individual, can get license for it. So they have that. But we are saying that the federal government that is in charge of coercive power in our country, in charge of the law enforcement agencies, they have to do better than they are doing now. We've been talking about these bandits and the forest that they occupy. And we are saying that we are not even seeing any sign that we want to go and exterminate them there. And it's not as if we don't know where they are. We know where they are. Even we as civilians, we know where they are. It's not an exaggeration. We know where they are. We know leaders of these bandit groups. We know where they are. It's not this thing. The other day, somebody sent a message on Facebook, our friend said, Ajide, you and Sheun Okinbaloye should tell Gumi to take you to bandits. I replied him that before Gumi started visiting bandits, I had visited them and done interviews with them. So I don't need Gumi to take me to bandits. I know where they are. I've interviewed them in Shimfida, in Katsina, Jibia local government. That's the same place where they killed 18 soldiers who wanted to go and attack them. So we know where these people are, but we are not moving to deal with them.
Is that a sign that the government feel helpless and they believe that they are in a position to attack?
The thing is, let me assume that the situation is, because I was discussing with the senior person in the armed forces and they said, Jide, you keep talking about the need, but when it comes to this kind of land battle, you don't just go head on into it. I can tell you that we have reached a situation in which we can hardly win any battle unless we have air power. Look at what Boko Haram is doing.
And look at what the group captain said.
Just ask yourself, look at what Boko Haram is doing. Where did they get the guts that, look, okay, we are going to this place where these guys are? It's because they trust in the weapons that they have. Frankly, some of the weapons are at the disposal of these bandits. Even the army, they don't have it.
And why is that so?
No, because in some cases, that is not the regular weapon that they use for their day-to-day.
That's what we must be able to tell ourselves.
Why would the Nigerian soldier, for example, be going around with RPG?
No,
that's not. It's not.
It is not. It is not
conventional.
But you see, but if you want to be fair, there was a time that we discussed this issue, and I said that we cannot follow rules of engagement.
But you don't even know what. See,
people who don't follow the rules of engagement.
My fear is that you don't even know some of the weapons at their disposal. So before you go to confront them, you have to be sure of what you are likely to face.
But you see,
do you know
that we have now? The situation that we have, that we are not even talking of Boko Haram now. We are talking of bandits who have occupied all
yes,
all over the country.
They have such weapons.
Yes,
they have such weapons. And they have such weapons. Yes. And one of them was boasting the other day now that, look, pay the ransom. Pay the ransom. Soldiers cannot rescue you. I'm telling you, soldiers cannot rescue you because soldiers cannot come and face us where we are.
Because you see,
but you know that it's possible that these bandits
see some of them on the ground.
Yes, no.
But you know that these bandits might, a lot of them might be even part of this insurgency, part of Boko Haram.
No, you see, people
say that people who ran away from Boko, or people who have affiliation with Boko Haram.
My brother, we've had bandits in Zamfara, some of these places as far back as the 60s. I read an old edition of Daily Times. I was telling GKB, banditry had existed since way back. If people simply think, oh, it's because Boko Haram. No, before Boko Haram, there had been bandits. Look at during Jonathan's, was it not during Jonathan's time that they killed 120 people in one day in Katsina?
Yeah,
they had been there. So if some of them left from Boko Haram, that means it's a new thing. But we are saying that even way back, 15 years, there had been these people. It's just that it got worse. Now they are confident people can go and be burning army base in Niger State. So you think twice before going to attack them.
All right, moving on now. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki says Nigeria is in financial trouble. Speaking recently, the governor said the federal allocation for March was insufficient, forcing the federal government to print between 50 and 60 billion for states to share. Governor Obaseki went on to lament the country's over-dependence on crude oil, stating that Nigeria's rising debt profile is worrisome. Gentlemen, let me start from you. I don't know. Maybe this is voodoo economics.
We're in serious trouble. And why we're in serious trouble is because when you start printing money, government do print money. You understand? Because that is why central bank is also bank to the government. You understand? But when you print money, it's a sign of serious economic trouble because it's going to lead to inflation. That way we look at it. Because normally, every money that you spend is supposed to have a backup. Supposed to have backup. So maybe you generate money from selling oil, from taxes, from all that. Then everything comes into the federation account, and then every month you share it among the tiers of government. But if for whatever reason you don't have enough money to share or to give to other tiers of government, the other ways I've done is either you borrow money from abroad or you borrow money through treasury bills. But this government has borrowed so much money, both internally and from foreign governments, that it is very, very dangerous where we are treading. Because we have to tell ourselves the truth. We are just like somebody who used to work in a bank. You understand? Who used to work in a bank and he used to earn good salary. And then there was a problem in that bank and he was retrenched. And the guy got home, and instead of him to realize that he has been retrenched and that was his problem, he kept going to people to borrow money. You understand? To sustain the lifestyle he was living when he was in bank. You know, when his children needs to pay school fees, he will go to somebody or go to a susu collector or go to one bank and borrow to pay that school fees. The wife that still wants
to maintain that
salary. The wife that because they are used to traveling for summer period, he went again to borrow money so that the wife can go and the kids can go on summer holiday. You are just postponing.
We have said we've suggested repeatedly that the cost of governance, that we should do something about the cost of governance.
Yeah.
At state level, at federal level, nobody is prepared to do that. We want to continue to carry that burden.
But
within the government, within the states, there is so much dead weight by way of civil servants that are not productive, that are just there. We've seen, I was talking about a particular governor who told me that he had 2,500 aides, and that he has reduced them by 1,000. And I said, you can do more, sir. He said, if I do that, they will crush me. That's what he said. Here in Lagos, he came for an event and was saying that. And I walked up and I said, you don't need as much people as you're talking about.
That's the another
Chase them away.
Because we are not being honest with ourselves. Even federal government sometimes borrow money to pay salaries.
All right, I have to take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Journalist Hangouts. We'll be right back after this time out. Your favorite news and current affairs program, reaching you live from TVC News, the best TV station of the year. And we are looking at the economy. Jide, this is serious. If Governor Obaseki, I know his pedigree before he became the governor. Yes. Yeah. He's a financial person. He's not somebody that can talk flippantly. Yes. Yeah. So for him to
you understand the issues. You understand the issues. I was hoping that he was misquoted, that he would come out to say, no, I never said so, this and that. Then later on, the video surfaced.
I wanted to say
and I was stopped in my tracks. All my wish came to nothing. So with that video, it was evident that nobody misquoted him, that this was what he said. I was then waiting again
for government
to say, no, he lied against us. So when there's no response for this, stop thinking that that person lied. If the person lied, even before the saliva dries in his mouth as he's saying those things, somebody will respond to him. They will call him all kinds of names. But given that I waited 1 day, 2 days, no reaction, then until today that I think CBN said they were not aware of what the governor was saying. Well, the governors don't attend the meeting where the distributable revenue is shared between the 3 tiers of government. Governors don't attend. They send their commissioner for finance from all the states, and it's a monthly thing. So he must have been briefed by his commissioners that, look, this is what happened. But definitely, they will have expected that to be treated with utmost secrecy. But this person, it's not as if he addressed the press. He just said it off the cuff. From what I could deduce, he just said it off the cuff. He didn't call a press conference and say, Nigerians, look, we are in trouble. This is what's going on. Now, the truth is, we are in dire straits. Whether people admit it or not, those warning signs are there. That look, we are fast becoming an insolvent state. I've talked about the fact that we are becoming insolvent. When you are insolvent, you can't literally pay your bills. There are many infrastructure developments that we could, maybe some years back, we would have done on our own. We can't do now unless the Chinese come forward. Even the Mambila, the Chinese must provide 85%.
The money that we are owing
85% before we can do it. 85%. That's what they must provide. So when you start having this kind of situation, you have debt all over the place. Even the petrol itself, the oil that we depend so much on, is so combustible in terms of the pricing. You cannot be sure that, okay, for a month, this is what will come in. It can just slide at any time. So you can't plan. You just have to rely, hope that, okay, tomorrow will be better, but we can't continue like that.
To sell your cargoes is difficult.
At a point in time, we're looking for dormant accounts. At the point in time, we're talking about pension funds.
You know why? To
show you how bad the situation is.
Because our internal debt is so huge. that the government have to look for other ways of raising money. That's why they want to take part of the pension. And when you say you want to, because there are a lot of dormant accounts, when you say you want to borrow, you know, even this one, that means you are forcing people to lend you money. Because if you want to try to borrow from dormant account, well, it shows the problem that we have.
Yes, joining us is Kayode Ogundeji, an economics. Kayode, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, as we are talking now, we have over 20 trillion naira debt profile. It was said as at last year that government, I can't substantiate that readily, that we printed 2 trillion naira for 2020. Now, Obaseki is telling us that we have 60 billion naira that was printed to augment allocations last March. What do you make of this situation?
But it's becoming quite interesting. Government may decide to print money at any point in time. It's called quantitative easing. But that's for very strategic and, if I may say, a little bit extreme position. Probably you have gone through a period of extreme economic downturn or meltdown. The government decided to come in and mint money. It's like a car battery that has failed. Government decided to charge it, then put it back so that it can start running. The car can start running. So it's a way to increase the quantity of money supply within the economy so that we can have a new equilibrium. And in addition to that, you can reduce interest expenses, interest rates. When you reduce interest rates, the assumption is that banks will be able to lend more, they'll be able to create employment, the economy will be reflated, and so on and so forth. But the one we have under the current administration is a bit strange, because what government is doing practically is to go for Federal Allocation Committee every month and say, governors or finance commissioners, what do we do? Okay, CBN, bring in the money. It's a dangerous dimension in finance and in the management of any economy. It has become more of a routine thing than what should be a one-off strategic intervention in the economy. So Nigeria is gradually, to say it as it is, with every sense of responsibility grinding to a halt. And that should be a source of concern to everybody. Government is not just borrowing to sustain both current and capital expenditure. Government is minting money to sustain basic responsibilities and expenditure. To the extent that when they say Paris refund, for instance, you ask yourself, what exactly is government talking about? Government is practically minting money to give to other tiers of government. It's a dangerous dimension. And when you look at the schedule of their borrowing, really, government will have budget deficit of about 20 trillion naira in the last, between 2015 to date. You ask them, how much have they borrowed? There will still be a shortfall of about 40% of that amount, which technically suggests that CBN is minting money and dishing out money like a Father Christmas. It's a dangerous thing. The implication is this: we'll have hyperinflation, and I think we are already doing that. And when you consider the fact that we have huge, high level of unemployment, we are getting ourselves into a very big crisis. In addition to that, countries that have minted money successfully, they are countries that have convertible currencies. Countries like the United States of America and co. You are running an import-driven economy. Technically, you should know that what you need is foreign exchange to stabilize the economy as much as you can. You can't get foreign exchange from oil, then there's a recourse to minting money at home. We are heading towards Zimbabwe. It's a very dangerous dimension.
So what can we do to address this seeming insolvency that we are going through?
I think the positive dimension to this is that stakeholders, especially governors and the president and probably local government chiefs, will now come together and say, we've had a crisis. That crisis was as a result of lack of discipline and inefficiency within our public finance. How do we address this problem? The truth is that before you go to the extent of minting money every month, you need to ask yourself, what have you done with the money you've been collecting from time immemorial? What has local government people been doing with their money? Can we have a research, for instance, that will show us if there is a local government that has built a road, that has been able to withstand the heat of time for probably over a period of 2 years. So the wastage has to be dealt with. You collect allocation which CBN minted for you. Then when you get home, you give 5% to traditional rulers. They marry more wives. They have more parties. These things are not productive. Then you have a governor that is riding big cars all over the places. He can't build roads, but he can fly on a helicopter on top of the bad roads. If there is a problem of insecurity, he can't address that problem. So he has to increase his own security votes. So these are selfish tendencies that must be addressed. These are not productive tendencies within the economy. We have offices that the Constitution does not, they are straight to the Constitution, and you are spending it. Now we need to now sit down and say, what kind of model do we want to use to run our government? We have a British model that all of us know is efficient and is delivering. It is common these days that you see the Speaker of the House of Commons in the UK in a public bus or in a train going to work. You see his counterpart in Nigeria. He has fleet of cars in Abuja, in Lagos. His aides are living large. People are getting into government and becoming extremely rich and wealthy. These are problems. We know the problems. The problem of Nigeria is simply lack of discipline, simply inefficiency in public finance. And we all know this, but we are not ready to address it. Rather, we are looking for the easy way out.
I want to thank you, Kaide Gudeji. Our time fast spent, but you succeeded in hitting the nail. You know? But actually, in all, when you look at this administration will tell you that they've borrowed what they've borrowed to finance infrastructure.
Yes.
That there's nothing wrong with it. That they can borrow as much as they want. So far, they're putting it into infrastructure. That's always the difference we get. Now, we are owing over 20 trillion naira debts, as we are talking about.
Still counting.
And they also borrow money to do recurrent, though. It's not only infrastructure.
So the truth is, we must be prepared to bite the bullet at some point. There are avenues through which the resources are leaking badly. We've talked about it here. Because look, the revenue generating agencies, they are not doing enough. It is because of the shortfall, the fact that they are not doing enough, we don't have enough revenue, that we are now driven to go and do what Obaseki announced that we did. If we do not focus too much on oil and we focus on other areas of revenue generation, and all of those revenue generating agencies are delivering or remitting all of what they should remit. Because we have a situation in which an agency generates 15 billion and remits only 2.55 billion. There are those cases are there. The House of Reps investigation showed clearly. A lot of them. And we continue to keep those people pay for their inefficiency, and we think that at some point this whole thing will not blow up in our faces. We will get to that point. The system is extremely expensive to run at this time. If in the UK, a lot of these big politicians live in their own private homes, and they don't spend so much to look after them the way we are doing.
Even the even the presidential system of government that we are practicing,
it's expensive.
The presidential system of government that we are practicing, the president of the United States pay rent in that White House. They deduct it from his salary every month.
Mrs. Obama alluded to that
food
part,
that they eat there.
Look how much money we spend
the excess
on
food. Any food that you use to entertain people in White House, the president pays from his own salary. They deduct salary. They deduct actually for the payment of that building, for that is the rent for that White House. Whereas here, our own president, the prime minister of UK does not have a private jet. We have a fleet.
You have a fleet.
We have a fleet
that the Senate
for our own president.
We have a fleet.
Even
some of their relations will get into those aircraft.
So the reality is that we are spending the money we don't have. We are deluding ourselves.
No, we deceive ourselves that we are so
we are deceiving ourselves that we are postponing the doomsday. Whether we like it or not, we have to accept that we are not as rich as we used to be.
As we even think we are.
And then we have to cut, we have to reduce our expenses and change, because the cost of running government is too high.
Was in Germany.
It's too high. It's too high. And one day we are going to realize that the cost of running government is too high.
You see, the truth is, why are people praising the late president of
Tanzania, yeah.
Because he came in and felt, look, we can't continue like this.
Yep.
And he cut wages of public office holders and all that, including himself.
5 times.
Why is it impossible to do that? If you want to take such a step, they will go and meet the president.
No, because
they will pile pressure on the president to say, you cannot do it.
The system makes it impossible for you.
We have to leave it there. And finally on the show, the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has confirmed an attack on its facility in Damasak, Borno State, which happened on Saturday, with the death toll rising to 7. The agency says humanitarian operations in Damasak will be reduced due to the violent attack, which will affect support to 8,000 internally displaced people and 76,000 people in the host community receiving humanitarian assistance and protection. Jide, this is worrisome.
Worrisome because lately Boko Haram has been targeting communities in Borno North where people are still residing. I don't know what their goal is. But when you look at Marte, Dikwa, Damasak, these are communities in that area in Borno North where people are living. People may not be living in communities around them, but these are capitals of local government, headquarters of local government, where people are residing, and you have a good number of humanitarian workers. You are now targeting those places, attacking humanitarian hubs, kidnapping people. They are simply trying to drive away. Look at what they did in Dikwa, for example. 3 army formations in that town. They overran the 3 army formations, set ablaze even armor tanks that they found there.
You've gone bizarre.
Burnt down the house of the Shehu, that is the first-class ruler of the town. They burned down his house. Burned down local government headquarters. Food that Governor Zulu went to distribute to people because he went there and shared cash of 100 million to IDPs. He went there, donated bags of rice to IDPs. They set ablaze the food. Chased people away. People had to run.
Set ablaze food.
Yes, that is left. That's the food that is left. Because they just wanted to tell people, don't come here, don't stay here.
That's the message.
Don't stay. In that area, they see that area as their own area. You see Marte, for example, for so long, they've seen that area as their area. Yes. And the governor is desperate to move people to some of those places that are right now abandoned. So that the economy can begin to boom, people can have activities, then the population of IDPs can be reduced. Because for a government to be paying, giving food to IDPs, it's not easy. More than 1 million IDPs on the bill of government. So, yes, now, we're in excess of 1 million. And some of them are even outside Nigeria, in Cameroon, in Chad, and Niger. So, how can a governor continue like that? You know that there was a time that even Shetimatu said, no, this is not sustainable. We have to stop this. Now, this governor is trying to decongest those camps so that people who are ready can go and settle. If you go to Borno State, you see houses that he has built to resettle these IDPs that are ready to go back home. But these guys are making it difficult so that when you get killed or you are attacked, you then tell yourself that this place is not safe. Let's go back to IDP camps. That is what they are trying to do. We're constantly attacking soldiers in the few communities in Borno North where people are living. I mean, I just don't understand.
Mayor, it's a very difficult
what they are doing is very simple. They have changed the strategy, the war strategy, to soft targets. They know that part of the things that brings semblance of governance in Borno is that in some of these cities and towns, people still live there. You understand? And when they continue to live there, it is easy for government to move people from ID camps to go and settle in those places. So by attacking those places and attacking humanitarian services around that. They are trying to send a message to those people to say this place is not safe for you. And they know that this humanitarian service is very important because they complement what the government is doing. There's no way government alone can solve the problem of these IDPs. So they are trying to attack them to discourage people from living in these places. When they are scared, they will leave, just like they move from their former towns and villages to IDP camps. They want people to leave those towns.
And
that's why they are attacking them.
They also want people to think that, look, soldiers can't protect them anymore.
Yes, that soldiers can't
because by constantly going, because you can't have access to Damasak without first overrunning the military there. You can't now. They have soldiers there. There are soldiers in Marte. You have soldiers in Dikwa. Once you overrun the base there, and you have access, because humanitarian workers are supposed to be super protected, and you have access to those humanitarian workers to then kill them, you are telling them that, look, these soldiers cannot protect you. Therefore, you better go and find some. And they also don't spare humanitarian workers. When they kidnap people, they first find out whether you are a humanitarian worker or not, whether you are a soldier, whether you are a policeman. If you fall into those categories, they will make sure.
It's simple. They will make sure that they kill you. They don't want those people to come back.
Yes. Remember even those midwives.
Yes, they kill them now. Because they do very, 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 very important jobs. So they know that if you continue to lose your workers, you will stop coming to that area. And you will not provide the services you are providing. But I'm not a military man, but I think that the military should also change their strategy a little. And what I'm saying that is that because we have some towns that you have people living in those areas. I don't think the military should wait and allow the soldiers to come and attack them. I expect that they should have like a cordon that will be like a wall, a security wall that will make it difficult for the theater of war to be those towns. You understand? Even if they want to attack them, it will be far off from that town. You understand what I'm saying? For example, if people are living in, let's say people are living in Ikeja, I expect the military to have a cordon round Ikeja so that if you want to attack Ikeja, you will meet the military at either towards Mowe or towards Ekpe or something. There should be a cordon because if they just stay and provide security within the town, there will always be surprise attacks and all that.
What if they overrun even those ones?
It's possible. That's what I'm saying. But they should try to.
Because normally you first convince yourself that if you have 3 army bases in one town, that place is impregnable. But what happened in Dikwa completely made nonsense of that assumption.
No,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that means the strategy.
Yes. No, they overwhelm super camps. It depends on how prepared they were and the kind of weapons they take with them to the place. Because you see, the truth is, how many soldiers do you have at that location? They will do their own recce. They do a lot of intelligence work.
Yeah.
Using even local people, useless local people who give them information. By the time they are coming, they will come maybe 3 times the number of those soldiers at that location. And they will bring weapons, superior.
Experienced soldiers. You know, a lot of them are foreign fighters who have fought in ISIS, who have fought in Baghdad, who have fought in Syria.
Yeah.
So they have experience.
Central African Republic.
Yes.
And those communities too, some of those communities are big. The truth is, Borno State is extremely difficult to police. I pity the army. How many soldiers can you put in Borno that will protect that whole area? Where a single local government is bigger than a whole state.
A state, yeah.
In Nigeria. A local government.
Local government.
So how do you protect?
We have to leave it, gentlemen. We have to leave it. And before we go, today's Martin's Oloja's birthday. Martin's Oloja's, the editor of The Guardian. One of our own.
Editor-in-chief of The Guardian.
Yes, right now.
Happy birthday, Mr. Abuja News Day, Mr. Editor of Editors.
Mr. Bureau Chief. Bureau Chief. He was Bureau Chief in Abuja for a long time.
Everything. He was Abuja News Day editor. He is one of the oldest journalists to work in Abuja.
Yeah.
Because Abuja News Day was then in the 80s. You know, that was the newspaper that came out of Abuja. So Martins has come a long way, and we wish him long life and prosperity.
I also want to add to that wishing, because he's a very good friend, very, very brilliant writer. And we pray that God will continue to give him the wisdom to do
Mayor
his
skipped
job.
last year. Mayor skipped this year too.
We are still doing pandemic. We are still in the pandemic. That's the problem.
And 61.
Don't worry,
Sunday.
it's 65 that we're going to do. God will keep us.
Okay. Mayor Akibele, I want to thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
And the investor himself, Babajide Kolade Otitoju.
Thank you.
Your people missed you.
Last week. I'm back. They know I don't just travel. I go to work.
So yes.
And the truth is, if you stay in one place as a journalist, you become sterile.
And the people that
is
watched
what I was
especially on Uburu yesterday, they've been giving the feedback.
Yes. We hope that governor will turn a new leaf. He's from that town.
Professor.
He's from Ubudu land, and he left the place to rot. It's unbelievable. You have to do much more than simply putting a pattern on your head.
And that's Journalist Hangout. So today, join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Don't forget to join Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's strictly on DSTV 418, GoTV 45 on Sunday. 2 hours, 120 minutes of Journalist Hangout every Sunday. And Amayo Deluzwaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.